So I'm headed over to HEB. Wanted to go pick up a brisket to smoke overnight. Had some really good results on my last one, so I'm gonna try that out again. But I just kind of wanted to hop on real quick and change up the scenery. I'm trying to figure out what the perfect mix between like screen sharing and just doing my own thing is going to be for this YouTube thing. I don't know what you guys want to see more of. Hit the comments, let me know. I'm trying to figure it out right now, what that balance might look like. Anyways, so a couple of thoughts on Claude Code, and I'm trying to find different ways to call vibe coding. What are different names for vibe coding, and not context engineering either, but maybe just AI engineering is what I'll call it, because I feel like vibe coding is getting like a really bad rap at this point. And what I'm doing is finding smarter ways to use the tools so that I can kind of up level and always punch above my weight as a AI engineer. So I did have some pretty big breakthroughs this week, just kind of locating and knowing how to call out where the metadata is stored for each session on Claude Code is a big win. I love this place, La Perlas, or just Perlas, little seafood joint here in Austin. And so yeah, right now I'm kind of trying to learn what does it take to build out the desktop app portion, or at least the Mac OS notification system, so that I can just look up and see a timer, along with like token usage percentage and things like that. So I'm going to start playing around with that once I get back to the office later. I've got an event tonight, like this little deep invent hackathon, so I'll be going there. That starts at like 5, so I'll probably show up at the office around like 2 or 3. Since I'm going to be there, I didn't want to kind of spend all day and evening at the office, so I kind of want to plan that out accordingly. But basically, man, I'm just trying to make sure that I can get in where I fit in. I've been invited to a couple of meetups, and obviously AI is a hot topic, but there's so many people selling courses and communities and meetups that are of various skill levels, and you don't know what you're walking into nine times out of 10. And that's been kind of frustrating for me, if I'm being honest. It's just been kind of like, where do I fit, and how do I stand out as someone who's actually doing this? And time and time again, I love community, and I love the organized AI community, and I'm excited for the recognition we've gotten so far. But time and time again, I keep hearing this little voice that says, just focus on being really good at the tool, being really, really good at using what I'm doing and creating boilerplate for other people to use, and having things that people can build on top of, even if it's open source for now, even if that's kind of the wave that everybody's on right now. I can continue in that vein, and I don't have to figure out how to monetize everything immediately, especially at this stage where I'm kind of, I still feel like a beginner. Even if I'm advanced in my skills, I still consider myself a beginner at this. And the parallels are crazy, because it feels just like it did when I was first starting with calisthenics. Even though I was strong enough to do muscle ups and some other things, I needed to be taught, and I needed to see it once in order to then use it. And then over time, you start doing weird stuff, all the freestyle stuff, and et cetera, et cetera. But it's, I guess I say that to say this. The big thing that broke me through with calisthenics wasn't community. It wasn't me trying to be a part of the group and fit into the, hey, I'm at a certain skill level, let me go lump up with everybody else who's at that skill level. It was me spending time solo working out over there, day after day with consistency. And so I've been super consistent with Cloud Code and other tools, especially Cloud Desktop, which doesn't get enough love in my opinion, but that's neither here nor there. And so the idea at this point is, okay, how do I push myself so that I'm making sure that I'm only focused on being the man versus like looking like the man? So again, going back to this concept that I've had for a while, is being the man over looking like the man. There's so many people who just want to look the part, and there's so many people who are addicted to the attention that you get when you fake it, and you're, getting all the spoils of being good at the thing without actually being good at the thing. And my thing is this, man: if I can put myself in a spot to where I'm actually learning and actually showing and proving what it is, then that's really the goal for me. It's like I get a benefit from actually being good versus me trying to convince a group of people that I'm good, right? Because doing that isn't the play. The real play is, excuse me, how can I actually add the value? And so that's what I've been obsessed with right now, is how can I add the value? How can I add the value constantly? How can I only focus on the right things instead of losing the plot? Because I see so many people with $50 groups, $100 groups, etc., and they're making good money teaching people how to set up basic ass workflows and chatbots and agents and blah, 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 blah. And so from the beginning, it's in the back of my head, and I've seen it in calisthenics as well. It's in the back of my head. These guys don't really know what they're doing. These guys are fooling their community into following them into mediocrity. These people are profiting off of their mediocrity. And so it's the same shit that happens with engineers, where they see vibe coders and they have this stuck up mentality. And so as I started to peep that about how I was feeling and how I've been feeling about some of these communities, I'm like, that's not who I want to become either. I want to make sure that if I'm going to spend the time learning this stuff, that I keep the first thing, the main thing, so to speak. I think that's like Peter Drucker, maybe Brian Tracy, one of those old school business legends. I can't remember. But essentially it's, if I actually build things, if I actually have expertise in the workflow, this is what we came after, this little flat. I don't know which one I'm gonna do, but I'm gonna do one of them. This one actually looks, one of these three looks the best. Let me put my cart here. So we're going between this guy. That one's pretty heavy actually. This one, it's got that weird divot in it right there. So probably not that one. And then maybe this one. This one's got some silver skin on it. That's what that foggy, I don't know if y'all can pick up the fogginess though. Anyways, Let's go with this first one. Actually looks the best out of all of them. So we'll go with that. Anyways, where was I? If I just focus on actually being not just good, but great at using AI tools and building projects, shipping them, making especially vibe coder tools, which is kind of where I'm at right now, then I'll land where I'm supposed to land and I don't have to worry about all the other bull crap. And so that's kind of what it is, man. I know that my skill level isn't even at a stage to where I'm impressed yet. So of course I'm not going to expect anybody else to be impressed or want to see what I'm doing or anything. I remember with calisthenics, I didn't even record me doing a muscle up because how I saw it was, who cares, you know? It wasn't until I was jumping on the bar with one foot that I felt like it was even worth recording. Do this real quick. So that's kind of where I'm at with this, man. I'm just gonna take this out just like this too. I have a bag at home. Let's see. All right, there we go. Package secured. The point that I was getting at is essentially, if I'm focused on actually being good, I can win the game called community at the right time, right? And so a big part of the problem is when you're not focused on the right things, you end up focused on getting paid and getting credit for things that you're not even suited to keep. So eventually, it's a matter of time. It's like the Drake thing. It's like a matter of time before someone calls you out for being mediocre, for not doing enough, for not being enough, you know? And I know everybody's dunking on Drake right now, but it's such an easy target, because he's like, I thought I had some bags in here, but I guess not. Damn. It's all good. It's just the meat. I hope it doesn't bleed everywhere, though. Let me put it in the footwell, just in case. It's not all nasty. All right. I know he's an easy target to dunk on, but I will say that he did it to himself, man. That's what happens when you're hopping from trend to trend. You're not, you don't really represent anything that people really can latch on to other than the kid that'll do anything to stay popular. And that became his whole persona. And so when that happens, you forfeit authenticity. You also forfeit the desire. It's not that he doesn't have the desire to be good or people don't have the desire to improve, but that you have to be focused on improving if you want to improve. I've learned that time and time again. I never get better at calisthenics, at coding, at baseball, at anything that I've done in the past unless I'm focused on actually being better. And so many people focus so much more on being popular, well-known, liked, getting money, so getting paid for whatever the thing it is that they're doing. Think like one-hit wonder mentality. It's the same thing, and it's really sad because it puts you in this spot to where not only are you not trying to actually improve and earn the title that you could have, you know, eventually by building yourself up into this champion, you don't even care about that. And there's so many people who have that mentality, and I'm watching it. And I'm just thinking to myself, damn, am I an old head now? Am I old? Is my mentality just outdated? I'm 40. I'm about to be 40, 39. Or am I right? And these other people just are missing the plot because they care about too much of the end goal versus the process. They don't want to become the best. I've been listening to this Gunna album, and for the longest I wasn't a fan of Gunna. It's just not like my style of music most of the time. I like some melodic stuff like Money Man, and I used to like Young Thug and some of these other guys. But anyways, the point is, Gunna is putting out some really consistent, solid work, even though he's coming off of this big trial where he was labeled a rat. And I don't know the ins and outs of that, but from what I'm understanding is people are saying that's not even true. He didn't do anything to rat everyone out. It's just a label that stuck from the people who were bitter about the situation that he found himself in. But the point here is the talent is undeniable, and it was a slower build for him to become this consistent. And some of the other cats that's got the longevity and they've been doing it for a while and they've been doing their thing, they're struggling. So Young Thug is actually struggling, even though he's got the people's vote as a stand-up guy or whatever. I don't want to get into all that stuff. That's kind of weird. Like, all the hip-hop shit is weird nowadays. But I am a former, like, hip-hop head and into all that. So it's kind of a culture that I've prided myself on, and I know the difference between good music, great music, and trendy shit. But essentially there's a lot to be learned there, man. It's just all political maneuverings and perception and all these things. It's more of the same in a different realm. And so I'm trying to apply it to my own life. How can I make sure that my brand is attached to actual skill, and I can remove myself from the bullshit that plagues most of these folks who just want to hop on, present things a certain way, basically have a whole channel that presents AI news and fool or confuse people into thinking that they are an authority or they understand things that they don't. I'd rather just be a channel that's like, hey, I'm vibe coding, or I'm AI engineering. Hey, I was able to actually secure a job doing this. Complete 180, not a complete 180, but adjacent to my data stuff. It was a different path that I took, and I went, and I ended up winning. And I can show people how. I can show you how to get a job when all you know how to do is use AI tools and you don't know how to code. That's kind of my claim to fame. And how else can I increase that for other people besides just keeping it authentic, explaining what I know, explaining what I don't know, explaining what I'm learning next, how I'm learning it, who I'm learning it from, who I follow, the repos that I use, where I learn it from, and etc. So that's kind of the premise of this whole thing. Anyways, I am rambling. This is a 19-minute video. Holy crap. But yeah, it's real, and I'm excited. All right, peace.